Champions are not born. They're forged. This is about turning the ordinary into undisputed. Available now. Ade Depot, brought to you by Undisputed.
Afternoon, peeps. Good afternoon, everyone. How's everyone doing? Hopefully, you guys are all doing well. Don't forget, if you're new to the channel, like, share, subscribe. As always, this video is brought to you by the wonderful people at Undisputed. Don't forget, the new Mexican Monster Pack is available to download right now. Just go to playundisputed.com. All right, let's do this. I've been itching to do this video. I just got back from Saudi Arabia. I put the camera on and I said, I want to talk about Moses Itauma. Before we do that, very quickly, don't forget the live that I am doing with the green chair is September 4th, King's Place. That's what, 3 weeks away? Less than 3 weeks away. We've now moved to a bigger room, so there are more tickets available. The link to the tickets is in the description. It would be so nice to see as many of you as possible. All right, let's talk about Moses Itauma. I smile because I can't wait to talk about this young man. This 20-year-old that is, I think, going to be a force in the heavyweight division. I was going to say he will run through everyone, but you just don't know. I mean, you don't know, right? We still have questions that weren't answered on Saturday night. That's not Moses' fault. We wanted to see the chin tested. Didn't happen. We wanted to see what it's like when he went into deep waters. Didn't happen. We wanted to see what the gas tank is like when he goes past 6. Didn't happen. Again, this is not Moses' problem. We're just going to have to put him in there with someone that will ask some of those questions. And I've got a list of fighters here that don't include the top 3 or 4 that I think could do that. I really do. Obviously, there's a lot of talk about Usyk now. Turkey has put that on notice, right? I think he's tweeted about it a couple of times. There's a lot of talk about Joseph Parker, who was ringside. There's a lot of talk about Cavial as well. Those are probably the top dogs right now. You don't need to do that yet. You certainly don't need to go Usyk, but you don't need to do a Joseph Parker or an Agit Cabiel fight either. You're only 20. Let's build this correctly. Let's not rush this. We have a talent. It's a talent that the world is talking about. I spoke about it on yesterday's video. It's very rare that American fight fans, American journalists, American fighters talk about a British fighter in the way in which they're talking about Moses Itauma. They see what we see. And you don't have to wait for him to be in there with a killer to see it. Sometimes you can just see it. And I saw it yesterday. I was only a couple of feet away from the ring, so I was as close to it as you're going to get. And I was watching it. I was like, my God, this guy's foot speed. Bear in mind, look, let's get serious here. Dillian Whyte is 37 and he's been through a lot. And he's been a part-time fighter for the best part of 4 or 5 years. So you have to temper your expectations. Is that the right word? But you have to like calm down your expectations based off Dillian Whyte. But those guys were both exactly the same weight. One moved like he was about 40 to 50 pounds lighter. This is one thing I've always said about Moses Itauma, is that he is a heavyweight that moves like a lightweight. Sorry, a light heavyweight. Certainly doesn't move like a lightweight, but a light heavyweight. He just darts in and out so quickly. Like, nothing about him physically looks 240 pounds. Bear in mind, that's the same weight as Daniel Dubois. He's the same height. It's only 10 pounds less than AJ. It's the same height as Dillian Whyte. I'm sorry, same weight as Dillian Whyte. But you look at his frame, he doesn't look that heavy. It's almost like he's very, I don't know, maybe a lot of that weight's in his legs, but he seems to move and glide around the ring so freely. So yeah, look, I'm very excited about him. I thought that if I watched it again, because obviously I made the video yesterday immediately after watching the fight, so I was very high. And I thought, okay, let me watch it again and maybe calm down a little bit. If anything, I've got higher. If anything, I've gone higher. I think he's incredible. I was at the airport with Lee Wood. And Lee Wood, obviously trained by Ben Davis, and Lee Wood sees him train all the time. And he was like, dude, I'm not surprised. Like, I see this guy train all the time. I see what he does. I see who he spars. And sometimes you got to listen to those people. Again, we're not privy to any of that. All we see is a couple of rounds or 2 minutes on fight night. We don't see anything else, where people like Lee see it week in, week out. So, look, I think he's incredible. Let's not waste no time. I've already wasted, 5 minutes or so. Let's talk about potential opponents. And this doesn't include Again, the top 3 guys. So this doesn't include Alexander Usyk. I'll tell you who it doesn't include. It doesn't include Alexander Usyk. It doesn't include Daniel Dubois because he's just come off a knockout defeat. So it's not realistic. I'm talking about next fight, realistic names. It doesn't include Joseph Parker because I just don't think they're going to make that fight. And it doesn't include Agit Kabayel. So those, and Fury and AJ. We know those fights ain't happening, right? Let's be real. All right, realistic ones. Jermaine Franklin's name's been brought up. I think Moses Itauma might have mentioned Jermaine Franklin yesterday. Like, I think he was doing a bit of a scrum with a few of the YouTubers. And I think he mentioned his name. Jermaine will give him rounds. I think we've seen that. He gave AJ rounds, gave Dillian White rounds. He'll give you rounds. So, yeah. And what that does as well, I don't know how famous or how known Jermaine Franklin is to the American market, but if he's to knock off an American, it might start getting the noises and the bells ringing over in America even more. Filip Hrgović, this is one that keeps on coming up and isn't going away. I brought his name up to Frank Warren on stage yesterday as well. Obviously, we saw Filip Hrgović struggle at times with Adelaide. I kind of feel like Hrgović is what he is now. I think Abel Sanchez has done well to improve the gas tank. That's one definite improvement. But you're still going to hit him. He's still got a crazy chin. Like, he must have the craziest chin in the heavyweight division. You think about the people that have cracked him, and no one's been able to put him to sleep. Dubois cracked him. Zhang cracked him. Who else? Joe Joyce. These are big punches. David Adelaide. And nothing. No one's dented him. So that's a name that makes sense. I don't know if Keith Connolly, who looks after Hrgović, will take that fight, but it's a name. Frank Sanchez. This is one where you weigh up the risk reward and you're like, the risk for Frank Warren and Francis Warren is so big and the reward isn't, so ain't gonna happen. F.A. Jagba. F.A. Jagba, by the way, is scheduled, or at least I did see something about purse bids to fight Frank Sanchez, but F.A. Jagba would swerve that purse bid at the drop of a dime to fight Moses Itauma. It's a name that we know. Again, risk reward. Don't know if anyone would be overly excited about an F.A. Jagba fight, but he's a good, solid top 15 heavyweight. Jarrell Miller did a little post the other day saying that, or at least I think someone copied Jarrell Miller into it that he then retweeted or reposted about, if you want to come to America, you got to see me. Look, I mean, Jarrell would sell it. This is the beauty of a Jarrell Miller. Say what you want about Jarrell Miller. Jarrell would sell that motherfucker to the point where, I mean, Moses wouldn't even have to speak. Jarrell would do all the selling, and if Moses can then knock out this big bully, it really opens him up to the fans. That there, I think, is the perfect homecoming O2 fight. I think Moses is in a situation where I genuinely believe he could sell out the O2 if he has the right dance partner and someone that pushes the buttons. Jarrell Miller pushes the buttons. Jarrell Miller would actually be my number one choice on the whole list. We've got some more. Martin Bakole. That's dangerous. People, it's dangerous. But this is the issue now. With Moses, you can't go backwards. There is no, okay, no, that's a bit too dangerous. Well, you're calling out Usyk, one of the all-time greats. So I think it's all fair game now. Martin Bakole is an option. There was, at least the last time, the time that that Moses fought in Scotland, Martin was ringside, and I thought that they were going to do something there. But nothing seemed to transpire. So I don't know if they want that fight. I don't know what Martin's doing at the moment. He seems to be in Congo, shadow boxing next to buses. I don't know. This next name would be the one for me behind Jarrell Miller, and it would definitely sell out any arena, maybe even a small stadium over here. Fabio Wardley. Now look, I know it's trained in the same camp. That can't go on. I'm sorry, you can't have two people in the same weight class that are both world level boxers, both have world championship aspirations. Yeah, you're running into an issue here. I can see one of them leaving. I could see Fabio potentially leaving that camp because people are going to be asking for that fight. People are going to be asking for that fight. It's just a bit messy, I think. It was okay a few years ago when Fabio joined that camp because Moses was just a young 17-year-old coming up, and maybe people didn't expect Moses to get to where he's got to so quickly. But I don't know how you can have Fabio. AJ is a different thing because it's AJ, and AJ is not fighting Moses. And I don't know if AJ has world title aspirations. I did a video the other day about Jake Paul. So AJ is slightly different. But Fabio and Moses, I think okay, this is what I mean. If they weren't in the same gym, there would have been a collision course. So they're going to have to look at that. Lawrence Okoli, they're ringside. Dillian White did say that Okoli was offered the fight. I don't know if that's true or not. I didn't speak to Okoli and ask him. But Okoli is there as an option as well. If you want to go American and get an American name, Richard Torres, unbeaten. I think Moses would light him up. I really do. I'm very high on Moses. I think he'll light him up. Too fast. Just light him up. Justice Hooney as a wild card. I know he's coming off a defeat, but his stock rose in that defeat. He just got caught right at the end. He's a very good boxer. Maybe there is a bit of a suspect chin there. Maybe I saw him really hurt against Kevin Lerena as well. But look, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I think 10, 11 names without the other 5 that I've excluded from this conversation. Fury, AJ, Usyk, Caballero, Parker. So many names. So it's going to be intriguing and interesting to see what Frank does next. He only fought for 2 minutes. We should see him again in October. He should be out again just like that. Unless there were any niggles or injuries in camp. Latest December. And it's going to be with one of those guys. I'm confident it's going to be one of them. If I had to put my money on one, I would say on this list, Hrgovic or Jermaine Franklin. That's what I would say. That's what I think they're going to do. All right, let's quickly, how long have we done? All right, let's quickly see if there are any other little bits to talk about. Dimitri Bivol ordered by the WBO to submit certification of injury. Stop. No, I'm not just saying this because I'm a Bivol fan. Did we not see the picture of Bivol in bed? You think that was just faking it? You think they just went to the hospital and just took that picture and posted it? I mean, crazier things have happened, but come on. The reason I say stop is because they just make it up as they go along, these governing bodies. Like, you know how long they've allowed Canelo to do whatever he wants to do with those belts, whatever he wants to do. I haven't heard them once say, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. Whatever you want to do, Canelo, it's fine with us, we can do. And then for some reason, they try and put a bit of pressure on my boy Bivol. Nonsense. Absolute nonsense. Leave him alone. Leave him alone. Craig Richards expecting big fight next. Hope so. I like Craig. I still think he can be a really good fixture in this light heavyweight division. I think there's still a couple of good fights in Craig. Maybe more than that. But I mean, a couple of like big ones. So let's see what he can do. Guys, you know there is, how long left? September 13th. We're less than a month away from Canelo Crawford. I am so gutted that I'm not there for that. Gutted. Absolutely gutted. Obviously, it's the same day as Crocker Donovan, Belfast, which is going to be a massive fight as well. But you're talking about maybe the fight of the century here. But you got to go where they're paying you, and they are paying me to be at Crocker Donovan, and I'm going to enjoy being at Crocker Donovan. All right, Floyd Schofield set for main event bout in November. Don't know who against. I do want to do a video. I'm going to do a separate video on Dillian White. I haven't really spoken too much about Dillian White. Didn't look right coming to the ring. I don't know. I think didn't look right mentally all week. Physically, incredible. But I was always downplaying his chances all week. And it kind of, I don't know, man. I was thinking, like, it's okay you downplaying it to us, right? Because you don't need to tell us anything. But I almost feel like, did that affect him? You know what I mean? You can downplay things so many times before it starts to creep in the back of your mind as well. and then the ring walk. You know, normally, and that's what I tweeted saying, like, oh my God, wait till you see Dillian Whyte's ring walk, because they had this big wolf thing behind him, the red eyes, and they had this thing where, you know, Dillian Whyte normally scream, go, oh, oh, you know, he does that. Didn't do it, did he? Didn't do it. He didn't do it, and he always does that. And I'm like, no, this ain't it. And he kept Moses in the ring for nearly 7 minutes before he even decided to get out of his changing room. Just looked off to the point where I never like to say, oh, that's it, done, retire, because you just got beat. But there will be many questions he's having with himself right now. But look, we'll do a video on that maybe later on tonight, because I fly out to Greece tomorrow and we are out. Like, we are going on incognito mode. Pause button will be pressed. I'm so tired. Peace.
Champions are not born. They're forged. This is about turning the ordinary into undisputed. Available now. Ade Gman, brought to you by Undisputed.